The story opens in 2387, aboard the human colony ship New Dawn as it approaches the Kepler 442b system. Captain Jack leads a crew of 50,000 colonists, seeking a new home after Earth's resources began running low. The ship carries families, scientists, engineers, and farmers, ordinary people looking for a fresh start. As they enter the system, long-range sensors detect massive structures orbiting the planet. First Officer Kate realizes these aren't natural formations, they're space stations. The discovery excites the crew until warning shots streak past their hull. 3 alien vessels, sleek and predatory, surround the human ship. The aliens call themselves the Dominion, a powerful empire that has ruled this sector for centuries. Commander Vex, their leader, speaks through translation systems. His message is clear. Humans are trespassers in Dominion space. Captain Jack tries diplomacy, explaining that humans come in peace, seeking only a small portion of the planet to settle. The ship's scanners show Kepler 442b is mostly empty, vast continents with no cities or settlements. Surely there's room for everyone. But Vex laughs, a cold sound that chills the human crew. The Dominion doesn't share. They own everything in this system, even if they don't use it. Humans have 2 choices: leave immediately or be destroyed. The colonists panic. They've traveled for decades to reach this system. Their old ship barely has enough fuel for the return journey, and Earth can't support them anymore. Dr. Sam, the mission's lead scientist, discovers something troubling in the alien transmissions. The Dominion has encountered other species before. Each time, they demanded submission or death. Captain Jack makes a fateful decision. He refuses to surrender or retreat. If the Dominion wants a fight, humanity will give them one. The colonists aren't soldiers, but they're survivors. They've faced solar storms, system failures, and the endless void of space. They won't be bullied by aliens who claim ownership of empty worlds. The first battle is swift and brutal. Human weapons, designed for asteroid mining and ship maintenance, prove surprisingly effective against Dominion shields. The aliens expected easy prey, but find stubborn resistance. 2 human shuttles, converted into improvised fighters, damage a Dominion cruiser before being destroyed. Vex retreats, but his final transmission promises swift revenge. The Dominion will return with a full battle fleet. Humanity has made a powerful enemy. As the alien ships disappear, the colonists face a harsh reality. They're stranded in hostile territory, with limited resources and no allies. Engineer Mike works frantically to repair battle damage, while Medical Officer Lisa tends to the wounded. Everyone knows the Dominion will return with overwhelming force. But something has changed among the humans. Fear transforms into determination. These ordinary people, teachers, mechanics, farmers, begin preparing for war. They study the recorded battle data, analyze alien technology, and adapt their tools into weapons. If they're going to die, they'll die fighting. Captain Jack addresses the crew one final time before the inevitable return of the Dominion fleet. His words are simple but powerful. We came here seeking peace, but they chose war. We asked for a small piece of an empty world, but they demanded everything. Now they'll learn what happens when you corner humanity. We've survived ice ages, plagues, and the death of our own sun. We'll survive this too. The story establishes humanity as the underdog, peaceful colonists forced into violence by an aggressive alien empire. The Dominion represents everything. Humans despise bullying, territorial greed, and the belief that might makes right. The stage is set for a desperate war between a small group of determined humans and a vast alien empire that has never faced real resistance. 3 weeks after the first encounter, the Dominion returns in force. 50 warships emerge from hyperspace. their hulls gleaming with weapon ports and shield generators. Admiral Rex, Vex's superior, commands the fleet with cold efficiency. He's fought dozens of species across the galaxy, and none have survived. The Dominion's full attention, the human colony ship New Dawn, has transformed during those 3 weeks. External cargo bays have become weapon platforms. Mining lasers now serve as defensive turrets. The ship's hull bristles with improvised armor made from asteroid metal. But everyone knows it won't be enough against a full fleet. Admiral Rex offers humanity one final chance to surrender. His terms are harsh: complete submission, forced labor, and relocation to Dominion prison worlds. The humans would become slaves, their children raised as servants to alien masters. It's the same offer. Even to every species that Dominion has conquered. Captain Jack's response is broadcast across all frequencies. No. The siege begins immediately. Dominion ships form a blockade around New Dawn, cutting off any hope of escape. They don't rush to attack. Rex prefers to break enemy morale through isolation and fear. His forces launch probing attacks, testing human defenses while minimizing their own losses. But humanity adapts quickly. Engineer Mike discovers that human mining equipment can pierce Dominion shields if used at close range. Pilot Tom leads dangerous shuttle runs, delivering supplies and evacuating damaged sections of the ship. Each small victory costs lives, but the colonists refuse to break. Dr. Sam makes a crucial discovery while analyzing captured alien technology. The Dominion's weapons rely on exotic particles that human equipment can detect and track. This gives the defenders a few precious seconds of warning before each attack. It's not much, but desperate people make the most of small advantages. The real surprise comes when the Dominion attempts to board New Dawn. Their soldiers, tall and elegant with advanced armor, expect easy conquest. Instead, they find humans, fighting with improvised weapons in familiar corridors. Teacher Anne becomes a sniper, using her knowledge of the ship's layout to ambush alien troops. Farmer Bob turns maintenance tunnels into death traps, using his understanding of machinery to deadly effect. The boarding action fails catastrophically. Dominion soldiers, trained for conventional warfare against civilized enemies, struggle against human guerrilla tactics. The colonists fight dirty, using everything from welding torches to industrial chemicals. They show no mercy to invaders who threaten their families. Admiral Rex is shaken by the failure. In 3 centuries of conquest, no species has inflicted such losses during a simple boarding action. His subordinates begin to mutter about the strange ferocity of these humans. Maybe they should simply destroy the ship from a distance and be done with it. But Rex's pride won't allow such a solution. The Dominion's reputation depends on showing other species what happens to those who resist. If word spreads that humans died quickly and cleanly, it might inspire other rebellions. No, the colonists must suffer publicly before they die. The siege intensifies. Dominion forces target the ship's life support, water recycling, and food production systems. They want the humans to experience slow death by starvation and suffocation. Children cry as rations shrink and the air grows stale. Some colonists begin to whisper about surrender. Captain Jack knows morale is breaking. He calls together the ship's leaders, officers, engineers, doctors, teachers, and others who've shown leadership during the crisis. His message is direct. They're probably going to die, but they can choose how. They can beg for mercy that will never come, or they can make the Dominion pay for every human life. The decision is unanimous. If they're going to die anyway, they'll take as many aliens with them as possible. Dr. Sam proposes a desperate plan. The ship's fusion reactor can be overloaded to create a massive explosion. If they can lure enough Dominion ships close enough, the blast might cripple the enemy fleet. It means certain death for everyone aboard New Dawn. but it might give humanity a chance to be remembered as more than helpless victims. As Part 2 ends, the colonists prepare for their final gambit. They've moved beyond simple survival. Now they fight for something larger. They fight to prove that humanity won't go quietly into extinction, and that even a small group of ordinary people can bloody the nose of a galactic empire. The siege has transformed both sides. The Dominion expected easy conquest, but found determined resistance. Humanity expected to be victims, but discovered they could be warriors. The explosion of New Dawn changes everything. Captain Jack's final sacrifice destroys 12 Dominion warships and cripples 6 more. The blast is visible from 3 star systems away, a brilliant funeral pyre that announces humanity's defiance to the galaxy. Admiral Rex survives, but barely, and his remaining fleet limps back to Dominion space, carrying news of an unprecedented disaster. The Dominion High Council convenes an emergency session on their capital world. For 300 years, they've conquered species after species without serious resistance. Now a single human ship has inflicted more damage than entire alien fleets. Council leader Nex demands answers from Rex's report, but the Admiral has none that make sense. The humans fought differently than any species the Dominion had encountered. Other civilizations had armies, navies, and governments that could surrender when defeat became inevitable. But the colonists aboard New Dawn were ordinary people who simply refused to give up. They turned maintenance tools into weapons, cargo, holds into fortresses, and their own ship into a massive bomb. What terrifies the Dominion most is humanity's response to the massacre. Instead of deterring other humans, news of the colonists' sacrifice spreads like wildfire across human space. Earth's united government, previously focused on peaceful expansion, begins the largest military buildup in human history. Colony worlds that had never seen combat start training militias. The story shifts perspective to show humanity's transformation. General Ross, Earth's military commander, studies recordings of the siege with cold fury. The colonists were families, not soldiers. Yet they'd fought like demons when cornered. If ordinary humans could inflict such damage, what could trained warriors accomplish? Engineer Helen leads the crash program to weaponize human technology. Mining lasers become ship-killing beams. Construction mechs transform into battlesuits. Cargo haulers receive armor plating and missile pods. Every human world contributes resources to the war effort. United by rage at the Dominion's cruelty, the Dominion responds by accelerating their expansion plans. If humans are too dangerous to leave alone, they must be exterminated before they become stronger. Fleet Commander Tech leads a massive armada toward Earth, determined to end the human threat permanently. But humanity has learned from the colonists' sacrifice. When Dominion scouts probe the outer solar system, they find not helpless victims, but prepared defenders. Human patrol ships use hit-and-run tactics, striking fast and vanishing before the aliens can respond. They've studied Dominion technology, captured from the wreckage of New Dawn, and found weaknesses. The first major battle occurs near Jupiter. Commander Tech expects to sweep aside token resistance and proceed to Earth. Instead, he encounters the largest human fleet ever assembled. Admiral Stone commands 400 ships of every class, from converted cargo vessels to purpose-built warships fresh from Earth's shipyards. The Battle of Jupiter becomes the war's turning point. Human forces employ tactics the Dominion has never seen: ramming attacks, suicide runs, and coordinated swarm assaults that overwhelm alien defenses. When human ships take critical damage, their crews often choose to ram enemy vessels rather than retreat. Dr. Lin, aboard the human flagship, monitors the battle while analyzing Dominion communications. She discovers that the aliens are becoming genuinely frightened of humanity's apparent madness. No civilized species fights with such disregard for their own lives. The Dominion begins to call humans the Mad Ones, a species that prefers death. To defeat, Commander Tech's fleet suffers massive losses but maintains its advance toward Earth. The surviving human ships pursue relentlessly, harassing the Dominion rearguard with continuous attacks. Even damaged human vessels refuse to disengage, their crews fighting until their ships break apart around them. As the Dominion fleet approaches Earth, they face a final surprise. The planet's orbital defenses include thousands of automated weapons. Platforms, each programmed with human determination. The platforms attack in waves, accepting their own destruction to damage enemy ships. It's the colonists' sacrifice repeated on a massive scale. The Battle of Earth lasts 3 days and leaves both fleets shattered. Tech's surviving ships retreat in disorder, carrying news of another catastrophic defeat. But Earth's defense has cost humanity dearly. Millions of soldiers and civilians die in the fighting, and several human colonies fall to secondary Dominion attacks. Part 3 ends with both sides bloodied but unbroken. The Dominion has learned that humanity fights with desperate courage born of righteous anger. Humans have discovered they can stand against a galactic empire if they're willing to pay the price. The war has escalated beyond simple conquest. It's become a struggle for survival, where mercy is a luxury neither side can afford. The galaxy watches nervously as two implacable forces prepare for total war. The war enters its most brutal phase. As both sides abandon any pretense of civilized conflict, the Dominion, shaken by their defeats, decides that humanity must be completely exterminated. No prisoners, no negotiations, no mercy. They begin systematically destroying human colonies, not to conquer them, but to eliminate every trace of human existence. The massacre at New Victoria Colony horrifies the galaxy. Dominion forces under General Vix don't simply destroy the settlement. They hunt down every human, including children, and execute them publicly. The recordings are broadcast across known space as a warning to other species. This is what happens to those who resist the Dominion. But the atrocity backfires spectacularly. Instead of terrifying humanity into submission, it eliminates any possibility of peace. Admiral Stone, now commanding all human forces, issues a simple order that spreads to every human ship and station: no Dominion survivors. The war becomes a fight to extinction. Colonel Dan leads the retaliatory strike against this Dominion outpost responsible for New Victoria's destruction. His Marines show the same ruthless efficiency the aliens displayed, but with one crucial difference. They're fighting to avenge their own people rather than to terrorize strangers. When the base falls, Dan's forces ensure that every alien present shares the fate of New Victoria's children. The war's character changes as both sides embrace total brutality. Human tactics become increasingly desperate and violent. Captain Amy leads ghost ships, vessels stripped of life support and loaded with automated weapons, their crews accepting death to maximize damage to enemy fleets. These suicide attacks terrify Dominion forces, who can't understand why humans willingly die to kill aliens they've never met. Dr. Mark, working in Earth's research facilities, develops new weapons specifically designed to counter Dominion biology. His creations are efficient and merciless, weapons that exist solely to kill aliens as quickly as possible. The same scientific curiosity that once sought peaceful exploration now focuses entirely on perfecting methods of destruction. The Dominion responds with equal savagery. They begin using biological weapons against human worlds, diseases designed to cause maximum suffering before death. Entire colonies die in agony as alien plagues consume their populations. The Dominion believes that such horrors will finally break human resistance. Instead, humanity adapts once again. Medical Officer Claire leads the development of countermeasures while human fleets carry out revenge attacks of unprecedented scale. When the plague ship responsible for the Epsilon colony's destruction is captured, Its crew faces the same biological weapons they used on human civilians. The message is clear. Humanity will match any atrocity with equal brutality. The war's turning point comes during the Battle of the Veil Nebula, where the largest fleets in galactic history clash in an engagement lasting 2 weeks. Fleet Admiral Jones commands 800 human ships against Dominion Supreme Commander Zal's 1,000-vessel armada. Both sides know this battle will determine the war's outcome. The fighting is beyond savage. Ships ram each other at full acceleration. Damaged vessels detonate their reactors rather than be captured. Human pilots disable their life support systems to make room for more weapons, accepting death to gain even slight advantages. The nebula's gases ignite repeatedly as energy weapons tear through space. Engineer Sarah, aboard the human command ship, witnesses moments of horrifying beauty as the Ka. 2 fleets destroy each other. Ships die like falling stars, their crews choosing how they'll meet death, but never considering surrender. She realizes that humanity has become something new in this war, a species that sees extinction as preferable to defeat. The battle's climax comes when both flagships, battered beyond repair, close for final combat. Admiral Jones and Commander Zal engage in personal combat as their ships tear each other apart. When the wreckage finally settles, both leaders are dead, but the human fleet maintains cohesion, while Dominion forces scatter in panic. The victory at Veil Nebula breaks Dominion morale permanently. Their remaining fleets begin retreating toward their core worlds, abandoning conquered territories as human forces advance relentlessly. But humanity shows no interest in occupation or conquest. They pursue only extermination. Part 4 ends with the war's character fully established. Neither side can accept anything less than total victory. The Dominion fights for survival now, not conquest, while humanity seeks complete revenge for their slaughtered colonies. The galaxy trembles as 2 species locked in mortal combat prepare for a final confrontation. It will leave only one survivor. Mercy has become impossible. The war will end only when one species lies extinct. The war's final phase begins as human fleets penetrate deep into Dominion core territories. 3 years of merciless fighting have reduced both civilizations to shadows of their former selves, but humanity's smaller population has adapted better to total war. Every human ship, station, and world has become part of the war effort, while the Dominion's vast empire crumbles under coordinated human assaults. Supreme Admiral Kane, the last surviving member of Earth's original military leadership, commands the final human offensive. His target is Dominion Prime, the alien capital, world, and the symbolic heart of their empire. Intelligence reports suggest the aliens have assembled their last major fleet there for a desperate final stand. The journey to Dominion. Prime takes the human armada through the ruins of conquered worlds. Captain Lisa, commanding a heavy cruiser in Kane's fleet, witnesses the scope of destruction both sides have inflicted. Dead planets orbit silent stars, their surfaces scarred by weapons that crack continents. Space itself seems wounded, filled with debris fields that once were thriving. Civilizations. The Dominion has not been idle while human forces advanced. Under the leadership of their last surviving council member, Elder Kex, they've transformed their homeworld into a fortress. Orbital defense platforms circle the planet like deadly moons, while the surface bristles with weapons capable of destroying approaching fleets. Every Dominion citizen has been conscripted into the defense, creating an army of billions willing to die for their world. As the human fleet approaches, both sides know this will be the war's final battle. There can be no retreat, no negotiation, no mercy. The survivors will inherit the galaxy while the defeated face extinction. Commander Jones, Kane's chief tactical officer, studies the alien defenses and realizes that even victory will cost humanity almost everything they have left. Battle of Dominion Prime begins with the largest bombardment in galactic history. Human ships, many jury-rigged from civilian vessels, advance through waves of defensive fire. Entire squadrons vanish in brilliant explosions, but the survivors press forward with mechanical determination. They've fought too long and lost too much to stop now. Engineer Tom, working frantically in his ship's engine room, keeps the drives running, even as the vessel shakes apart around him. Like thousands of his comrades, he knows he's probably going to die, but refuses to let equipment failure doom his ship. The dedication of individuals like Tom gives humanity its edge, every person fighting with absolute commitment to victory. Orbital defenses fall one by one, but at a terrible cost. Half the human fleet dies, breaking through the Dominion's outer perimeter. The survivors, many barely spaceworthy, begin the final assault on the planet's surface. They fight not as conquerors, but as exterminators, seeking to end the alien threat permanently. Dr. Sarah, aboard the medical ship Mercy, tends to the wounded while monitoring communications from the surface battle. She hears the voices of human soldiers as they advance through alien cities, showing no quarter to military or civilian targets. The distinction between combatant and non-combatant disappeared years ago, lost in the mutual slaughter that followed New Victoria's destruction. The final confrontation occurs in the Dominion's Grand Council chamber, where Elder Kex makes his last stand surrounded by the few remaining alien warriors. General Mitchell leads the human assault personally, his forces fighting room by room through the massive structure. Neither side offers or expects surrender. When Kex finally falls, pierced by human weapons in the heart of his own capital, the Dominion's organized resistance collapses. But humanity shows no mercy to the defeated. Human forces continue their systematic elimination of alien populations, driven by years of accumulated rage and the memory of murdered children. Admiral Kane, standing in the ruins of the alien capital, receives reports from across Dominion space. Human fleets have reached every major alien world, carrying out the same merciless extermination. The Dominion, which once ruled 1,000 worlds, faces complete extinction within months. As the story concludes, Kane reflects on humanity's transformation. They began as peaceful colonists seeking new homes among the stars. The Dominion's aggression forged them into something harder and more terrible, a species capable of matching any brutality and exceeding it. The galaxy is now safe from Dominion tyranny, but only because humanity proved willing to become monstrous. The final scene shows human ships departing Dominion Prime, leaving behind a dead world orbiting a dying star. In the distance, other vessels continue their work on remaining alien colonies. The war will end only when every Dominion world falls silent. Humanity stood its ground when challenged by a galactic empire. The war that followed became merciless because both sides chose extinction over surrender. In the end, only one species survived to inherit the consequences of their choice. The galaxy belongs to humanity now, shaped by the terrible knowledge of what they became to win it.